Hey you guys, and welcome back to Nouveau Geek. I'm Christine.
I'm Andrea.
And we are here with Dave DeVries, the artist. We're at a MagicCon right now, and we got the chance to sit down and talk with him and look at a lot of his artwork. He's got a lot of comic book art, but he's also got like some really awesome children's art that we kind of want to talk about. But first, we kind of want to get to know you a little bit, Dave. And where are you from, and how did you get started? And we want to know your entire life.
How did you become Dave?
Yeah, how did you become Dave?
My parents met one night. No, how did I become me?
When did you start drawing? When did your art come into play?
Okay. Well, I think I told this yesterday at the presentation, but I started as any other kid, just drawing.
Okay.
Just the way little kids draw, and then and you don't think of yourself as an artist. And my brother Jack, who's 9 years older than me, he told me to come into his room, and I walked into his room, and he's like, "Shut the door." And I'm just like,
"That's a little scary."
No.
All right, so I shut the door.
Beat me up.
He walks over and he locks the door on me, and he goes, "You're not leaving until you draw this basketball player," which was from a magazine.
Wow.
And I'm just like, I just draw like doodles, I was just like, I don't, and he's like, "You're drawing that photograph." And I basically, screamed and yelled, and he wouldn't let me out, and tried to get the door open. He's like, "Sit down." And so I finally sat down, and I started to, complain. He'd be like, "Draw." He'd be like, "Draw." Draw. And finally, I'm just like, okay. And I start drawing. And little by, I would say the first drawing was pretty good. The second drawing got better. And I was amazed. I was like, I can't believe I did this.
Yeah.
And then at that point, he walks over, unlocks the door. And he's like, "You may go." And I opened the door, and I remember opening the door and walking out and going, "I'm an artist." It was like this magic
that's
box.
so awesome.
Yeah. And because it's how you think about yourself.
Yeah.
And so I drew like that for, just loving to draw. I remember drawing superheroes and all this, because I love superheroes. I watched these old Filmation cartoons.
Okay.
Which are, I don't know if you've ever seen them. They're really cheesy, but I loved them.
Yeah.
And that's what got me into them.
Okay.
And then somebody gave me a comic book, and it took me 3 hours to read. And now I can read them in 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But that, it was like a big event. You're like, "Oh my God,"
Yeah.
And then at around 6th grade, I showed my work to the best artist in the class, this girl.
Okay.
And
Of course she's a girl.
Of course. And
Yep.
but she was so I walk up and she's drawing, and I'm like, "I just did this drawing. What do you think? I love it. I want to show it to you." And she just goes like this. She looks and she goes, "That stinks. You're not an artist."
Oh no.
She was like, "Ugh, you're not any good." And I remember just it was like being stabbed.
Yeah.
And I was just like, and I didn't draw for a whole year.
Oh no.
I convinced my father I wanted to be a doctor. He loved that.
Goodness.
He was so excited.
Yeah. I guess that's going to make you more money than being an artist, technically.
Yeah, technically, yeah. And so I started to not draw.
Yeah.
And I would say sometime around 7th grade, I picked up a comic book, and I'd never drawn from a comic book. Even though I was drawing superheroes, I'd never looked at it like the way I did those basketball players.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, maybe I'll try it. And I started to draw this Aquaman cover.
Okay.
And suddenly it was like, "Oh my God, I could draw again. Yay!" And I started to draw. And that had to basically break it to my dad at a restaurant that I was not getting.
Well, it's a good thing that you said it to your dad at a restaurant, because that's a little bit of a public place.
Yes. That's why I did it. I was unsure of his reaction.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
No, I'm sure.
And
He supported you?
He did begrudgingly, but he came around.
Okay.
Basically he knew I wasn't going to change my mind.
Yeah.
Right.
And basically helped me, with college, and I had to, I basically when I wanted to go to art school.
Yeah.
He was just like, "No, university." And I was just like, "But I want to go to art school." He's like, "No, university." And so I had to basically enlist everybody I knew to sway his opinion.
Okay.
Because I wasn't giving up. And
Yeah.
then he said, "Fine." And then I was like, wait a second, this university is pretty good. I think I'll go here. And I went to Syracuse University, and that's where I met Tom.
Yeah.
And because they had a really good like commercial art program
Yeah.
I really wanted to do, and that was comics, and it was cool. So
No.
that's how I became me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now you're doing artwork, and it's amazing. So you do a lot of comic stuff. Do you work like with the comic companies, like with Marvel and DC?
I've
then?
worked for them. Usually, that was probably the 90s, early 2000s. I did a lot of work with them.
Okay.
And lately, I've been doing stuff for Archie Comics and
Okay.
like Sonic, and I did an Archie zombie, which was really fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but I've been doing other things like working on the Lego 2 movie for
Okay.
concept art. I've done a lot of video games. So I think you naturally transition out of comics
Yeah.
into like film, video games,
Okay.
every other type of illustration, because you can't sustain yourself only,
Yeah.
Right.
especially if you're a painter. You
That
know,
makes
what do
sense.
you,
Right.
if there's not a lot of painted cover gigs,
Yeah.
and if you don't do interiors, I do interiors, but like Tom, we're both slower at that.
Yeah.
So we focus on like pinups and covers and stuff,
Oh,
and
okay.
that's not and that's a love. That's our love to
Yeah.
do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But it's not something you can, especially as you get older. You have to sustain a mortgage and
Yeah.
family and things like that.
Right.
So.
Yeah. No.
But
completely.
so I went into concept art and advertising, and
Okay.
been doing a lot of different stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
I do want to talk about your book that you got
Okay.
of the children's.
Yes.
Okay.
As we pass it
As
across.
we pass it across the table,
It's called The Monster
professional.
Engine, and he has kids draw images, and then he brings them to life, kind of, and then interviews the kids. So, can
Right.
you talk to us a little
Sure.
bit about this concept and why you decided to do this kind of thing for
Sure.
Right.
the kids?
Well, what happened was I was like the fun uncle for a long time.
Okay.
I had my son late in life when I was 41. So we kids were in my life from my brothers, and I interacted with them,
This is
and
really cool.
I know.
that's a fun one. And so what happened was I had left my sketchbook on the beach at a family outing, and my niece picked it up and she started drawing it. And what she does, when kids carve,
Yeah.
they don't really draw.
Right.
Yeah.
They
They
just
do
go-
draw, but like for the next 20 pages, I'm looking
had
at
that
the echo
indent.
of it,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
it really was like, I don't know if, when you're an artist, that sketchbook.
Yeah.
Can't speak for all artists,
Yeah.
but like
Right.
for me, that was like my little world. It's a very
Yeah.
private thing.
Yeah.
And it kind of freaked me out.
Oh,
'Cause
yeah.
I came out of the ocean and I'm just like, why is that over there? And now that I can pick it up, I'm like, oh no, like, and
Yeah.
I'm like, oh man, I'm like, oh, I keep seeing it.
It's just there.
And
It's just there.
It's imprinted
you
forever.
ruined my book. And then I settled in, and then I started looking at the picture, and it was this drawing right here.
Okay.
Where is it? No. Because it fits, because it's like when I looked at it, I was like,
yeah.
no.
See, there it
So-
is, the infamous drawing.
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go. I don't know if you can
The-
read
I
it
don't
too
know
well.
if you can see it or not. Yeah.
Right, but
So
Awesome.
so
It's there.
that one became this painting. It looks like that.
Oh my gosh.
I love it. And that's
You see it
absolutely.
okay?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
That's amazing.
So when I was looking at it, I started to visualize.
Yeah.
Like, well, the thing is, when you paint somebody like this,
Yeah.
Right?
okay, there is no reference photo.
No.
You can't
Right, you
find
just-
that.
Yeah.
So like, I can get Batman or somebody because there's costumes, but so I looked at the things I was doing for Marvel that were monstrous and that had no reference. I was like, what if I applied the same techniques to that kid's drawing? And
Oh,
I
nice.
started looking at it and going, oh, that might be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Then I forgot about it, and I went home. My tan went away, and then about the fall, I had a bunch of students at the Joe Kubert School, which is a cartoon and graphic art school. It's a really famous comic school. And I was like, these guys don't respect abstract art. Abstract art is really important.
Yeah.
Right.
Because of when you're drawing things that are not real. Like I always say, if you had like the inside of Galactus's ear, you really have to make up things.
Yeah,
Or like
yeah.
some strange, like when Doctor Strange goes into another universe.
Yeah.
There's nothing to look at. You're
Right.
trying to make things that aren't there.
Yeah.
And that's the
Yeah.
abstract
That makes sense.
part.
Okay.
Right.
And I wanted them to realize, because they're like, abstract art sucks. I don't want to do that. Blah, 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 blah. So I was like, maybe if I take that drawing from the summer, I remember that idea, I'll do that for them. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I brought it in and I started painting it, and it was amazing because as I'm painting it, I'm going, wow, wow, you know, and I'm going, see guys, see. And by
back
the
in
end
the
of it,
room with my
I was like, I have to do more.
Yeah.
And so I did these, which were gifts for my nieces and nephews. I took,
Oh, yeah.
these are the superhero ones. I don't know if you can see them or not,
Yeah.
but they
That's
were
so
they were
amazing.
done basically as Christmas gifts.
Okay.
And
That's amazing.
and once I saw that as a series, I was like, okay, now I'm gonna do a book.
Yeah.
And I settled on monsters because I love monsters
Yeah.
and things like
Yeah.
that. And the rest is history.
This was so much fun. Like, thanks for hanging out
Oh,
with us.
my pleasure.
And
Yeah, thank you
letting
so
us
much for
interview
letting-
you and
yeah.
getting into your head a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now get out.
Now get
Now
out
get
of my
out
booth.
of your booth.
Yes.
Our booth. We'll leave.
We'll leave.
We'll
We'll
leave your
go.
booth.
We'll go to our booth.
Thank you very much. That was
Thank
cool.
you. Yeah, and make sure if you guys like the video, make sure to like it and subscribe and share this video all over. We want everybody to see Dave's work, and we'll make sure to link everything for his stuff down below so you guys don't miss out on
Right.
anything, and you guys can order the book as well. So
So, Nouveau Geek out, guys.
that's it. Bye, you guys. That's good.